I was born and raised right here in Great Falls, Montana. My grandfather, one came from Italy in 1908 and then went back to Italy and came back in 1912. The other one came via Canada from Scotland. And both families have lived here forever. My parents were both born here. I was born here. My son was born here. I went to Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic School through 9th grade. I graduated from Great Falls High School. I was fortunate enough to be part of the 72-0 Bison girls basketball team in the 80s. Then I went on to Northern Montana College. I had a basketball scholarship. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in construction with a surveying emphasis. A couple years later, I received my professional land surveyor's license. I'm also a professional real estate appraiser, and I'm a licensed home inspector. Okay. And I was the former clerk and recorder, auditor, surveyor, elections administrator for 16 years.
Right. And tell me why you decided to run now for the legislature.
So I think politics has always been in my blood for years. I mean, we were out on the campaign trail from the time we were 5 years old. My dad had us out there. We strongly advocate for the unions, pro-work. I just think that there are things that I can take my experience in both the public and private sector forward into the legislature. I know I used to be, the legislature would always come back and pat themselves on the back and say, we cut the governor's budget. And you know, all that really did was hurt local government. And so I think I can take that perspective and hopefully form something that we can work with at the state legislature so that we're not handing a bunch of unfunded mandates back to the counties and the cities, because those are very painful, and especially when we don't have a lot of money at the county and city levels to be spending.
Okay. What issue or issues do you feel are of most importance for this upcoming legislature?
Well, I have three issues. One isn't, one is just personal. Number one is tax. The tax issues have to be rectified. I say we have a lot of new money in the state of Montana. And you know, this time of year, when I was a clerk and recorder, we always looked forward to the certified values. And the certified values come from the Department of Revenue. And you always looked at the new and expanding, because the newly taxable is the extra money that was coming in for all the budgeting and everything that the counties and cities got to do. So we can look around and there's an incredible lot of new money out there. There's a lot of new construction and new businesses out there. And so the state has gotten that money. The state was also warned by the Department of Revenue. As a real estate appraiser, I could also see this coming in 20 and 21. I mean, a $300,000 house was all of a sudden a $600,000 house, and then it was a $700,000 house. So we knew ahead of time that what was going to happen to people's tax rates. The Department of Revenue knew ahead of time what was going to happen to people's tax rates. The Department of Revenue warned the supermajority in the legislature what was going to happen, and they ignored them. And so people are being crushed by property taxes, and that has to be fixed. And that would have been a very simple fix. They could have just adjusted the tax rate. Years ago, they phased in the taxes over a 7-year cycle when we had a boom like this. And then they moved it to every other year. Well, every other year, I mean, your taxes went from, you know, your value of your home went from $300,000 to $600,000. That was an incredible rate increase, and they knew it was coming, and they could have fixed it. And again, that was a supermajority that did that. There's also new money that came into the state with the marijuana taxes. And then there's the money that came into the state from the Affordable Care Act through the Biden administration. So there was a lot of new money. There's a $2.5 billion surplus in state government, and they could have done something to help the property owners. The other issue is education. And I strongly believe that we have to do something different to fund education. And I will advocate for tax reform for that. I believe that we have to tax some of the more wealthy people in our community and also the corporations so that they're paying their fair share to fund our schools. My grandfather that came from Italy was an advocate for schools, public schools, and I'll get to that in a second. He said when he came from Italy, only people that had money could afford to educate their children. And that is wrong. And that will take us way backwards. I mean, the children are the future of America, and we have to provide education. And we cannot be diverting money to voucher systems or to private education away from the public schools. If you choose to send your children to a private school, you need to fund that yourself. That's simple, because there are many, many other people that can't afford that. So we can't be taking money away from that. My third issue would be elections. To be careful here. After what we saw last year, there are all kinds of election laws, but when you don't follow those laws, there doesn't seem to be a vehicle to enforce those laws. Like, I missed the mailing deadline. Too bad. Well, that needs to be dealt with. And I understand mistakes happen, but it can't be something that happens all the time. There has to be a penalty for something like that, I feel. These are people's voting rights. This is how you got into office, and you want to make sure that elections are fair. And when you miss a mailing deadline by 5 days, that's not fair to the people that you're mailing out of state, out of country, or anything. That everything has to be on a fair playing field. And so I think we need to revise some of the election laws to put, I'll go back to when the legislature implemented early count. So they allowed the elections departments to count ballots the day before, like they can put them through the machines the day before the election. Well, with that came a law that said, if any early results get out, the elections administrator can be fined $100,000 and spend 6 months in jail. We're that adamant about results not getting out, but we're willing to let you guys count ahead of time, because basically it's either you're going to let us do something on this end or you're going to wait on the other end for the actual results as these elections grow bigger and bigger. So they were adamant about a penalty there, but there needs to be some penalties other places too, to ensure, and education, that would be another issue. So the Secretary of State educates the elections administrators on the Elect Montana program, or Montana Votes in the past. But there's no process training for new clerks that are coming in. I mean, there should be maybe even a group under Secretary of State that actually goes into an elections administrator's office that's brand new and says, this is how you would typically process an election. This is how you verify signatures. And so that's, I think, an area that needs to be set up to make sure that, I mean, it was in 2018, I believe there was like 26 new clerks. Those are all your elections administrators, and a lot of them only had one person in the office. And so we just have to assure that we have free and fair elections, we adequately fund education, and that property tax is taken care of.
Yeah, and on that property tax, that's a concern for many people, because like you said, it's rising for seniors, for just everyday people. Do you have any, if elected, any ideas or legislation you think you could propose that would help ease that burden?
We have to stop the loopholes. The wealthiest among us have ways to lower their property taxes. And I will give you a prime example. There's a person in the Kalispell area that has 7 acres on the lake. And that is not ag land, but he has planted cherry trees, and that is an ag that is an ag crop. And so that then becomes an ag parcel. There may never be a cherry harvested off of those trees, but that property that should be taxed at a very high rate is now all of a sudden in a non-qualified ag or an agricultural status, and just strips the money away from the people, the guy that's living next door that's probably been there since the 50s and just lives in a moderate home and can't afford the taxes where the neighbor is. I mean, we've all heard Ryan Bussey and Rafe Graybill complain about the tax rates that have gone down for our current governor. And I haven't really looked into that, but I'm assuming that there's a crop of some sort, asparagus, cherry trees, whatever little crop that you can run on a very small acreage, and that's probably why the tax increase. I haven't done any research into that yet, but my guess is that's what happened.
And I think you kind of touched on this, but I'll ask it anyway. As far as prioritizing, or how would you prioritize allocating money when the state does have a significant budget surplus?
Well, I think first of all, we have to help the taxpayers. Like this $692, that's not helping anybody. First of all, it was very expensive to implement the program. So as we all know, that rebate, whatever we're going to call it, the 600 and some dollars, did not go to every parcel of land. It went to your residence. Regardless if you owned 5 parcels or 10 parcels, it didn't matter. You got the one. So the Department of Revenue then had to write a program to manage that, you know, make sure that people weren't collecting on other properties. Like my grandfather's been dead since 1985 and I just got his house in my name and sold it a month ago. But I've been paying his taxes since my aunt moved out of the house 7 years ago. I was not able to claim on that property. I didn't own the property. I was the personal representative on that property. I paid the taxes, but that didn't qualify for the rebate because I just get to claim the house that I live in. And so that was a complicated process for the Department of Revenue. And then also, because of the way they did the rebate, they've left $200 million on the table last year because, as you know, like some of our older population, nobody knows what a geocode is unless you're in the business or a parcel number or where to find it. And so when I delivered Meals on Wheels, I assisted some of our senior citizens in actually doing that because they're the ones that really needed the money. And we have to make sure that when we do things, we look at the ramifications and the repercussions of everything that we do. And this 2-year $692 is not helping us. I mean, my taxes went up $1,500 or $1,600. And so, and luckily my husband has a good retirement. We could afford that. But I know I've been knocking on doors, and just as of 2 days ago, one of my ladies was 76 and still working and told me just to be able to stay in her home and pay her taxes. And then again, if we don't adequately fund our schools, then the schools are forced to come to us and ask for a levy, which again raises our property taxes. You know, we're not going to adequately fund the library. We need a levy. We pass a levy and, you know, and everything, it's only $35. It's only $25, but, you know, that adds up over time. And so, and then it was a big one. You went from a $200,000 house to a $400,000 house because we had a lot of people moving in from out of state.
So, Rina, what would you do, or what do you think you could do to maybe improve bipartisanship in the legislature?
Well, I think just from my previous job that, you know, I've lobbied for 16 years up at the legislature for the Clerk and Recorders Association. So I believe that I have a rapport with everyone there. There's a group that I don't believe that you're ever gonna be able to work with. But as far as people need to understand, we're not there to play politics from back east. We're not there to appease the federal government. We're there to represent the people in our communities. And I think that's the point that we need to get across. You know, the point is, this is what our community wants: tax reform. I mean, they're screaming it, and they're screaming it loud and clear. Our local governments are hurting. Our schools are hurting, and so we have to work for them and not some crazy idea that came to us from Washington, D.C. and the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee. That's not who we are. We need to take care of Montana and let federal politics play itself out, because, you know, what's happening here is what's impacting our lives. So I think that's the best way to do it, is like we need to get back to grassroots politics and work for the people in the districts that we're elected to work with. And once we do that, we're all going to see that, oh, that's really important.
Okay. Anything else that you can add that you'd like to, that maybe we didn't touch on that you can think of?
No, I'd rather do a commercial. No. I was just going to say, we're almost 60 days out from the election, and everybody needs to make sure that their voter status is active, that they want to be on the absentee list, they need to take care of that right now. Don't just look at the Secretary of State's website, because we've seen some glitches between what's happening here and what's on the Secretary of State's site. So please, by all means, make sure you're registered to vote, make sure that you know where your status is, and make sure you get those ballots turned back in, and just vote your hearts. But participate. Of all things, just vote.